Hey, everybody. Welcome to RiverCity-Media. I'm Howard Cheney along with Heath Hamrick, the sports editor and multitasking editor and
Yeah,
everything else at the Times Journal. Heath, thanks for joining me again tonight, and we appreciate this little run that you've gone on with us for the last, uh, well, tonight will be 5 weeks of the playoff.
yeah. It's been neat. I've enjoyed it.
You weren't able to be with us last week. Thanksgiving
No,
week, it's difficult to get everybody together, but appreciate the time that you put into it. And I don't know if you ended up watching last week's show or not, but Randy put it out there that he wants us to do this moving forward, even maybe a weekly show starting next year or something like that. So
okay.
just keep that in the back of your head. I know we're a long ways away from
Yeah,
next year, but
yeah,
it's out there, and he enjoyed watching the shows that he wasn't a part of. And but anyway, moving forward, we appreciate your time and everything, and uh, no rest for the weary. This is championship week, but
yeah,
you move straight in from football straight into basketball and everything. But we're here to talk about the championship week this week. It's
yeah.
Super Seven in Birmingham kicks off tonight. Well, technically
Hmm.
it kicked off earlier today with the
Yeah,
flag football part, but uh, last week of football, it just seemed like 2 weeks ago we was just getting started.
yeah. I mean, it's been a fast 15 or 16 weeks. If you uh, um the Jamboree games that we had, and you blink your eyes and you're already here
Yep.
uh, to this, and this is what you play for, and there's 14 teams that are vying for that blue map to take them back to their school and win it. And uh, it's what you want to do. I came close one year when I was helping at North Jackson. We finished in the semifinals. So know what the Plainview Bears and Scottsboro and Pisgah are feeling. Coming close last week. Pisgah and Plainview had chance. Plainview lost them with 5 seconds to go, and
Right.
then Pisgah led late. So I mean, it was those were two good games last week. Moody we all kind of knew what was going to happen at that game at Scottsboro, and unfortunately for Coach Van and the Wildcats, it kind of they ran into a buzzsaw with Moody. So, but hey, to get to the semifinals, first time in 28 years, I think, if my math is correct. So, and to host it for the first time ever, that's a big deal. That's Scottsboro.
Absolutely. And you talk about the blue map. Can we really call it a blue map anymore since it's
It's
not
got
even
glass in it, so I don't
it's
know if you can
it's see
call
through
it blue
now?
anymore. Yeah,
Right.
it hadn't been really blue in I don't know when they changed it, 2007, eight, somewhere around there. They changed it, made it a blue outline. It used to be a blue map,
Right. Yeah.
and it's not anymore. So I guess they went. It was the cheaper route. They didn't have to put all that color in it. So
Uh, I guess so.
now,
And
but now they're putting glass in it. So who knows?
now you can see straight through the thing. So,
Yeah,
but I think it still has a blue. Best I remember, it's got a blue plaque at the bottom of it to
yeah,
let you know it is.
yeah. I think that the glass part of it is outlined in blue. Uh, talking about one of those, I saw Southside One Soccer back in the spring, and they had theirs like it was like they had it fogged out. They put like a fog on it so where you can't see through it. So it was neat.
Right. I think it was Coach Ellison we had on here after he won his this year, and somebody had took a picture and not really meaning to or something, but I think it's his face or something, but you can see somebody's face through the map.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
but
it's
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 pretty.
neat.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go ahead and get started on the playoffs. It kicks off tonight with 7A, but we're going to start just like we always do, start with the 1A and work our way through it. So in the 1A state championship game, and Heath, you have to help me out on this. I know it's tomorrow, but I don't know exactly what time.
It's at 3 o'clock tomorrow.
3 o'clock. So tomorrow you're going to have Wadley. Wadley advanced to the state championship game with a 22-14 win over Addison. And Wadley did that actually being on the road. So, that's a big accomplishment for them. And Wadley will end up taking on Maplesville that ended up beating Leroy 59-18. So it's all at Protective Stadium in Birmingham, but
Mhm.
Wadley will be considered the home team because they're on top of the bracket.
Yeah, and these two teams met last year, in the state championship game, and Wadley won 37-30 or 37-7. Um, they played three times. Wadley's won all three times, but this Maplesville team. We saw them right off the bat. They played Fife in Montgomery to start the year and beat Fife 35-6. They had a heck of it. They've got a heck of a defense. They gave up their most points all year long last week, 18 to Leroy, but they have had 10 shutouts in 14 games.
Yeah.
I mean, and they've got, and then the four games they allowed points, it was 6, 7, 14, and 18. So it's going to be tough. Wiley's been number one all year. Maplesville's been number two all year long. They were on a head-on collision to meet in Birmingham. And I think this might be intriguing. This could be an intriguing matchup. I know Maplesville had a few move-ins. They had some transfers last year. They got some kids from Isabella that's made their team better than it was last year. So obviously you can tell, and they're scoring a lot of points too. I mean, they're scoring 40 points a game, easy. So should be interesting seeing it tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, this game could go one of three ways. I look at it like this: one, it could be a blowout one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Two, it could be a high-scoring game with whoever's got the ball last wins. Or three, it could be a low-scoring game and whoever you know catches a break somewhere ends up winning this game.
Yeah, Wadley, they had a big running back last year, and for 1A football, he had to be 6'5", 200 and something pounds. He's big, and he's back. But if Maples was only giving up 3 points a game, so Maplesville can stop Wadley, then I think Maplesville's going to win this game. I had said Wadley all year, but looking at and just looking at stuff that I've seen the last week or so, Maplesville may be the better football team.
And before we go any further, let's go ahead and let everybody know if you're not going to Birmingham, your station, 1017, The Torch, is actually going to be broadcasting all 7 of the Super 7 games this year.
Yep, they will. Pregame show actually starts in 30 minutes for the Saturday game. Tommy would be on the call for that. We've been the honor enough to be chosen to carry all 7 games in Northeast Alabama. You 1017 on your radio, or you can go on Facebook to 1017 The Torch and click on the link there. Also, you can get it on the TuneIn app. So obviously, if you're out and about and you're shopping or whatever you're doing the next 3 days, you can listen live on our station and listen to all the action. I know there's nobody from around here that's in it other than Coosa. Coosa's kind of, they're the county south of us, but and then Anniston from down in Calhoun County. So it's those two are probably the two that's relatively close. But everybody, if you like football in Alabama, you're gonna flip over and see who's winning if you're in a car. So tune in to the guys and listen to them. And we're just excited to have the honor to do this. And,
Absolutely.
And it's neat for us as a station, and we put it out everywhere. We released it last Friday night after the games were over. I saved it to release it, hoping that we would have maybe one in it. Unfortunately, we didn't get that. So, but yeah, we're honored to be able to do this.
Absolutely. And speaking of Coosa, let's go ahead and move on to the 2A division here, where Coosa ended up with a 44-36 win at Pisgah. A back and forth game. Pisgah jumped out to an early lead, but then Coosa came back, and it was back and forth the whole time. But Coosa will be the home team, and they're going against Lynette. Lynette with a 35-19 win over Reeltown, and this game is Friday at 3:00.
Yep. And Coosa, they were down 21 or 22-0, 21-22 early. And Pisgah come back. Their tailback ran rough shot in the second half, I think, and they come back and won. But and Lynette pulled off to me the upset. Reeltown number 1 all year long, and they hosted Reeltown last week and beat them 35-19. So I think that's kind of an upset, in my opinion. And now they get to play Coosa, who probably they're the best team in 2A. They've been ranked number two all year long. They lost two games to start the year and one to an out of state school in Pierce County, Georgia, and to Pell City by 1 point. So Coach Russ Probst taking over just for this year, apparently. And there's reports out already that he could be headed back to South Georgia to coach next year. So it looks like he's just going to be one and done at Coosa. And he's got a good opportunity to win another ring. I think he won five at Hoover.
Got five at Hoover.
And this would be six in Alabama, and he won two in Georgia. So uh, neat for him to do that. I know a lot of people across the state probably going to be rooting for Lynette. So, but just put that out there. But I think I think Coosa's going to win this game. They've been the best team all year long.
Yeah, one small thing about the Rush Probst thing, from my understanding, is he does want to get back into coaching. From
Mhm.
what I've heard, and so this run right here is going to open up a lot of doors for him. Not that he didn't have the resume anyway to start with, but
Yeah.
coming in and taking over a team like this and taking them to the championship game, and so you never know what's going to happen. I was kind of like you. The real town was a shocker as far
Hmm.
as not making it, but one of the things I say a lot, say a lot, and people gets tired of me saying it, but I'm like, that's why they play the games, guys.
Hmm.
You never know what's going to happen. So, so we will move on to the 3A classification, where there's no surprise. We're
Yeah.
not surprised by them winning, but I think by the amount they won by is a little bit of a surprising. But Mars Hill with a 48-16 win over Piedmont. So they are going to the championship game to play against Bayside Academy that won 51-20. And in this game here, Bayside Academy will actually be the home team on this.
Yeah. This is the first game tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock. Um, you just go ahead and put Marcel's name on the trophy. They could probably beat any team 1A through 6A. Um, they Scottsboro is their last loss from last year, and Scottsboro beat them by 1 point last year, and they have just ran through everybody. I don't think they've had a close game all year long. Looking at them, no, they haven't. Their closest game was 51-27, and that was the first game of the year against Madison Academy. So, um, yeah, Marshall's probably the best team in Class 1 through 6.
And Mars Hill's probably, they probably jumped out to a big early lead on Madison Academy and
Mhm.
put a lot of second string in, and Matty Cat ended up scoring a lot of points toward the end. I don't know. I'm just assuming. But that's usually how good teams end up doing. You see teams, good teams that gives up some points like that, but it's not against the first string. It's usually against the second string.
They are the only team in the state of Alabama that has scored more than 50 points a game,
Wow.
and they're giving up only 10. So uh, they're a really good football team, and they win. I mean, they've already made this. And the way this works, we'll do reclassification in about 2 weeks. The December 15th right now is the tentative date, unless it changes between now and then. That they'll have the meeting and announce all the reclassification. Marshall Bible will not be 3A next year. They will either be 3A or 5A. And the reason I say that is because they have made the state championship game the last 2 years. And the way they do this with private schools and competitive balance, the longer you go, the more points you accrue. So you get to a certain number of points, they bump you up a class or two. Um, you take Bayside Academy, for example. They're a 3A school and have been for a long time. Their volleyball team plays in 7A because they won 20 straight state championships. So they moved them up. so,
Right.
uh, but
And
yeah, that's unfortunate for anybody who's going to be in 4A or 5A next year. You're probably going to play Mars Hill. So,
right. And you misspoke a little bit. You said they would. You said they wouldn't be 3A, which is correct, but you said they'd either be 3A or 5A. But you meant they'd be either
4A or
4A or
5A.
5A. Yeah.
4A or 5A, yeah.
Put
Sorry.
that out there. So the
Yeah.
4A and 5A teams, get ready. So all
Yeah.
we can say, get ready, because it's happening. Just be ready.
Hmm.
So, and speaking of 3A teams or 4A teams. I'm sorry. Speaking of 4A teams, we'll move on to the 4A championship game where Plainview came down, gave it their all, but ended up coming
Yeah.
up a little short against Anniston, 32-29. So Anniston will be playing. They'll actually be the host team, but they will be playing Jackson that ended up with a 44-23 win over St. Michael Catholic. And Heath, I think you was at that Plainview game. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, Plainview game. Plainview scored in the first quarter. Owen Hope on a fourth down play went 65 yards and scored. But Aniston responded, and they don't kick extra points, so it was 8-7 right off the bat. And um, Plainview got down. They were down 12 points, two scores entering the fourth quarter. Um, Ended up scoring, cut it to six, uh, and then went for an onside kick and got it. And scored and drove down and scored with about 3 minutes to go. And everybody's, we're all sitting there thinking, well, this is they're probably going to hold on to win this thing. Well, the quarterback from Aniston behind, and we've said all year long, Plainview had the biggest offensive line. No, they don't. Aniston probably outweighed them 20, 30 pounds. He got behind that wall, and with Aniston, there's no motion, there's no eye candy, there's no trying to trick you. When they line up, it's what you see is what you're going to get. And they lined up and they ran quarterback every play. And with about 5 seconds to go, they're on the 7 yard line or 11 and 5 or something. It was under 15 seconds. And he just got behind that big offensive line. They pushed and got it in with about 4 seconds to go. And that was it. Uh,
Were they in the shotgun?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And he is probably about 5'11, maybe 5'12. I mean, he's not very tall, but he can run. And the thing that you could see all night is his speed, their speed in general. You think Plainview had them wrapped up. No, they're out the gate. They're going to get 6 more yards just because they could pull away when they needed to pull away. They could pull away. So, but not to take anything away from Coach Pruitt and the Bears. They had an outstanding year. Um, to not make the playoffs the last 4 years and you come out and win 13 games this year and just led by uh, Owen Hope and that offensive line, and then the defense the second half of the year played even better and kept them in games and put games away for them. So, but this game's intriguing to me. We've talked a lot about Anderson. Well, Jackson won the state championship game last year. Uh, they won a rematch last week against St. Michael's. They lost to St. Michael's back in October, 49-39. Well, they come back and return the favor and won by 21 points. So, Landon Duckworth, I don't know where he's going, but he's a very good player. And I'm not saying just football player. He is a very good player. He can play basketball too. And he leads Jackson. To me, Jackson's probably the favorite in this game. Jackson's been there recently. Aniston hasn't been to the finals since 1994. So I think or Jackson is the favorite in this game.
Absolutely. And it should be a good game. And that game's going to be tomorrow. Do you have a time for that?
It's Friday, 11 o'clock.
Okay, I'm sorry. I've
Yeah,
already switched over to 5A, so that's what
yeah,
I was looking at. My
yeah,
fault. Yeah.
yeah.
So Friday at what time did you say?
11 a.m.
11 a.m. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not a big fan of those early morning games. We kind of talked about that before we went live. The morning games are not. You say they're pretty good. Myself, I'm not a big fan of early game, but anyway, you know, and like we talked about a little bit earlier, if you want to listen to it,
Yep.
1017 The Torch.
117 the torch where we carried them all.
Absolutely. So let's move on to the 5A and Scottsboro. What a great year they've had this year. Unfortunately, came up a little short against Moody, where Moody ended up going into Trammell Stadium and beating Scottsboro 35-10. So they will be the home team at Protective Stadium going against Viger. Viger with a 28-21 win over Williamson to make it to the championship championship game. So you got Moody going against Viger, and that could be one of the better games that you'll see at Super
Yeah,
Seven this year.
yeah. I think this is going to be a good one. Viger had to win, just like Jackson. They had to get a win over Williamson. Williamson beat them. Ironically, the same weekend that Jackson lost to St. Michael's back in October. Uh, Williamson, number one team after that point. They finished the regular season number one. But Vigan has been there. The Wolves are pretty good. And Moody's going to have it's going to be a tall order for them. But, Moody has 39 seniors on their roster. I've never heard of 39 seniors. How do you even play 39 seniors?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be a good one. I give the edge to Viger in this because of speed. I think Viger had more speed.
39 seniors. There's teams around here that don't even have 39 players, much
Yeah,
less that 39 seniors. Wow, that's that's hard. And that game is tomorrow at uh,
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. And the reason I'm having to ask Heath, for everybody that knows, the reason I'm having to ask Heath about the time is because for some reason I cannot get the bracket to pull up all of it. I can see the date, but I can't see the time. So Heath is providing the time for us. So we're on the 5A now. We're going to move over to the 6A and 6A classification, and we're got Clay Chalkville with a 30-13 win over Muscle Shoals, and so they will be the home team going against Saraland that ended up winning 38-21 over Benjamin Russell. And Heath, was it last year or year before last that Saraland had all those Division 1 players on the team?
It's 2 years ago. I had
2 years
Ryan
ago.
Williams. This is a rematch of the state championship game that year.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so this will be the third meeting between the two teams in the state championship game. Clay Chopwell has won the previous two. So yeah, they beat Saraland 2 years ago, 31-28. Uh, yeah, so I think this is going to be a good game. Clay Chalkley scores a lot of points. So does Saraland. So I think they're very evenly matched. I mean, you go down the line. That Saraland scored 41 points a game. Clay Chalkley scored 45. Clay Saraland's only giving up 13. Clay Chalkley's giving up 11. So this game can come down to special teams or who turns the ball over, or who takes care of it, and see who wins this game. So to me, Clay Chalkwell. I think Clay Chalkwell is probably the favorite in this game.
And I get these confused. So if I misspeak, I'm sorry. But Clay Chalkville is coached by Danny Horn. Is that correct?
Clay County is coached
Clay
by Danny
County.
Gore.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like I said, I get them Clay Chalkville, Clay County. I get them confused. So my apologies there. But it should be a good game as well. And most of these Super Seven games should be pretty good. But you're always
hmm
going to have one or two that's going to be a lot better than you kind of thought. Then you're going to have one or two that's just going to be flat out blowouts.
yeah,
And it just happens. It's just
hmm
the nature of the beast when you get down there.
and you look. This is both teams' sixth trip to the state championship game. Clay Chalkwell scored one. Saraland is 1-4. So you take that for what it's worth. Saraland lost last year to Parker 28-17. So this is Saraland has been in the state championship game. This is the fourth straight year. So
Yep.
um,
And so, and that is the 6A classification. So we'll move on to the 7A real quick, which is actually going to be kicking off in 20
but
or 36 minutes, I guess.
yeah,
Actually,
pre
with TV time and all that stuff, you're
yeah.
looking at around 40 minutes, 45 minutes, I
I
guess.
do know in about 5 minutes pregame will start on 1017. So uh,
1017, The Torch will be covering all these games. So if you want to listen to them, just once you get done watching us, but you got to finish watching us first. But then go over, flip over, and turn it on 1017 The Torch and listen to the games. And we appreciate y'all station doing that.
yeah.
It's it's getting that time of year where football's about over with. This is
Yeah.
last year of high school football, or not last year, last week of high school
Hmm.
football. College football is coming to an end. Regular
Yeah.
season stuff basically ended this past week, except for the Army Navy game. But
Yeah.
but then you got the conference championships that'll be kicking off starting tomorrow night, I think it is, and you're
Hmm.
covering Jacksonville Friday night. So
Yeah. I'll be at Jacksonville Friday. And then you can hear Alabama on 98.3 on Saturday. Uh, the network will start at 12 o'clock. I say that kind of with a smirk is I've never understood why they do a 3 hour pregame.
I don't know.
So, but it's probably because they can, they get sponsors and they've got content. So, but yeah, yeah, we'll have Alabama on and they'll play Georgia on Saturday. So,
So if you love football like we do, enjoy watching it, listen to it, whatever, you better get it in while you can because you don't have very many more weeks to enjoy it.
I think we're 50 days from the national championship game. So we're probably 70 from the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
So you think about it that way. So it'd be over before we know it.
absolutely. Then you'll be wishing 70 days, roughly 70 days from the Super Bowl, and then you're about 80 days wishing, well, I wish football hurry up and come back on.
Hmm.
You know.
Yep.
So, let's get to the 7A. It's going to be kicking off here in around 40 minutes, probably. And you got Opelika is going to be playing the host. Opelika won 2 weeks ago
Hmm.
over Auburn with a 31-28 win. So Opelika will be the home team. They're going against Thompson. Thompson with a 1 point win over Central Phoenix City, 35-34. And this, like I said, this game's kicking off in about 40 minutes.
Yeah, this is you expect Thompson to be there. Opelika's been there before. Opelika kind of pulled the upset last week. That's them and Auburn. That's kind of that's a rival game down in I can't. Is it Lee County? I think it's Lee County.
So
Um, so they played earlier in the season. Auburn won 17-10. Uh, Ironically, at Opelika, and then Opelika went to Auburn and won last week. So that's kind of unique. But to me, the state championship game was played 2 weeks ago at Central Phoenix. I think Central Phoenix and Thompson were the two best teams in 7A. And I think Thompson is going to win this game. Thompson has a quarterback who's, I think he's a junior now. He's been starting since he
he's
was a seventh grader.
yeah.
Seabolt, I mean, he has been there forever. Uh,
I
and
was watching a little bit of the pregame earlier, or the not really pregame, but they going over a lot of the games, and of course they was talking about the Thompson game, and Thompson's won how many in a row now? 5, 6, I think, in a row, something like that.
something
It
like
was a
that. Yeah.
crazy number, but I think it's all being since this young fella has basically moved in after uh, two of his brother left.
Yeah. This is their eighth year in a row in the state championship game, and they have only lost twice, and the two losses were to Phoenix City. So, I think the odds are pretty good that they're going to win this one tonight. I think for Mark Freeman, this will be the coach at Thompson. This may be his 11th or 12th state championship. If you count all the ones he won when he was in private school. So, um, yeah, I like Thompson in this game.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't like Thompson in this one, then something's wrong. Basically,
Mhm.
I mean, I hate to say it, but
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's a couple thousand people down in Opelika that are going to say, "No, we're going to win it," but got to be a
No,
little realistic about it.
what's crazy is you look at these 8 years that they've been in. Thompson has been in a state championship game. Every year they played a team from Lee County.
Mm,
They played either Auburn, Central Phoenix, or Opelika.
right.
That tell you, so state championship game runs through Lee County. It looks like so, or I don't know what county Alabaster's in, but yeah, where Alabaster and Lee counties where 7A runs through.
Thompson, they're just when Hoover kind of fell off a little bit, Thompson just took over for them, and they've been strong ever since. And it's if you watch Thompson play, I've watched them, and the only time I've actually watched has been on the TV for the Super Sevens and stuff. But
Mhm.
when you watch them warm up and play, it's like watching a small college team get ready to play.
That's what Hoover used to be.
Yeah,
And you talk about Hoover and Thompson. Yeah, it doesn't. It's crazy. Hoover is like Georgia, or like Alabama is to Georgia in the regular season.
yeah.
Thompson can't beat Hoover in the regular season, but then when they get to the playoffs, they win. So, like Hoover beat them this year, 33-30. So, uh, yeah, Thompson they played a schedule. They played Grayson, Georgia, Hoover, obviously. Uh, Central Phoenix they lost to Clay Chalkville, 28-24. Uh, so they've played a schedule that they're ready to go for this.
Yeah, it's Thompson is one of those teams that once the playoffs begin, it's like they just kick it into
Yeah.
another gear. They what's the also they just flip the switch. They flip the
Mm-hmm.
switch and they just go from here on up to here, and they're just looking down at everybody and it's like catch me if you can. I guess you can say.
Yeah,
And
you're right.
so and for everybody that's joining, if I know some people's joining a little bit late. If you want to listen to any of these games, any of the Super 7 games, 1017 The Torch will be covering every one of them. And so just Heath, tell us all you mentioned it earlier. Tell us all the ways that you can listen to it.
You can obviously you can go on your radio and 1017 the torch, do the NMX in on your radio dial, and then you can also go to Facebook and click on 1017's Facebook and click the link there and take you straight to 1017's broadcast, and then you can also tune in to TuneIn, the TuneIn app by searching 1017 The Torch, and you'll be able to listen there too. So, yeah, it's a great opportunity for our station. We're proud to do it. Thanks to our sponsors that we have. We've got 6 sponsors, and won't mention those. The
Now go ahead.
thanks. Yeah,
We're
I mean,
fine.
uh,
If you know all 6 of them, go ahead and do it. But if you're
yeah,
like,
obviously
I'm
First
afraid I'll
State Bank.
forget one of them, so then
Yeah,
don't worry
First
about it.
State Bank, First Jackson Bank, Northeast Alabama Community College, Old Heritage Realty, DeSoto Printing, and then of course Southern Torch. It's sponsored, so just congratulate, thank you to all of them for doing this, and it's a great opportunity for our station to showcase our product in Northeast Alabama also.
And let's go ahead and put the word out there. Me and Heath kind of talked about it, and we're going to do it. Hopefully, Phil and Randy can join us as well. But we're going to do a little preview show for the Sand Mountain Tournament coming
Yeah,
up here in I think about 3 weeks. I think it is
yeah,
2.5, 3 weeks. We'll do a little preview show of it, and for first time in a long time, 1017 The Torch
hmm
has put the word out. They're going to carry the semifinals and finals. We've done it in the past. Me and Phil has done it for them in the past, but it was like kind of a last minute type deal.
hmm
But y'all are putting the word out there and letting everybody know, hey, we're going to be covering the semifinals and finals of the Sand Mountain Tournament.
Yeah, to me, I didn't play in this tournament. I went to Scottsboro in school there, so I didn't. To play in the Sand Mountain tournament, you have to be a school on Sand Mountain. So obviously, in the past, outruled Sardis, Susan Moore. Most people don't realize that Sand Mountain stretches to Blount County. Susan Moore, Douglas, and Sardis all in the past have played in this tournament. It's been since the '60s since they've been in it. But this tournament, I've done the history of it. I have a book that has every score of probably 90%. There's some scores that you can't find, but we have all the results from every Sand Mountain tournament since 1953. This will be the 73rd edition of this tournament. It's the oldest non-postseason tournament in the state of Alabama. I call it the oldest holiday tournament because you have Thanksgiving and Christmas. But other than the state playoffs, this is the oldest tournament in the state. And I think for our area, Northeast Alabama, that's unique. It's something we can hang our hat on. because I believe some of the best basketball in the state is played on this mountain. And, a lot of history with all these schools. We've had a lot of legends, uh, coaches, players come from this part of the state and made their name down in Birmingham, winning and having outstanding performances in the Final Four. I looked it up one year uh, since they changed to the Final Four in Birmingham since 1994. I think 80% of the time there's been a team from Sand Mountain or the Northeast Alabama play in the Final Four. So, but with that being said, we are going to carry the semifinals and finals of this year's tournament. The tournament is hosted by Ider. They're the host school this year. The first 3 days, it starts on my birthday, actually, December 18th. Um, the first 3 days will be at Ider, so the 18th, 19th, and 20th will be that Thursday, Friday, Saturday will be at Ider High School, and then we'll transition to the Civic Center in Rainsville. The Coliseum will host the semifinals and finals there. Semifinals start on the 22nd at 3 o'clock. We will carry it on 117 the torch. We'll have all four semifinal games. So it'll be semifinal Monday with all four games. And then Championship Tuesday, we'll start with the varsity girls at 5:15 and then the varsity boys. But yeah, thanks to our sponsor on that, Northeast Alabama Community College. They are the exclusive sponsor of that. They've stepped up and going to do that. So we're excited about that. Just another way to showcase Southern Torch as just the brand and showcasing these kids. To me, I wrote a story about the Sand Mountain tournament and being, if you get the Times Journal, it'll be in Times Journal Saturday. The magazine goes out. That's the history of, I call it Holiday Hoops. So the Sand Mountain tournament is it's kind of a gathering. You wait for Christmas. Some people you don't see. Some people just come to watch basketball. I know there's a few guys from section. They'll go and they'll sit all day long.
Yeah.
Just like they do when they go to Jacksonville, they'll sit all day long and watch all the basketball. And it's just unique. I will not be on the broadcast. Justin Thrasher and Eli Sampson will be on the broadcast covering those 6 games. I will be behind the mic though. I will be emceeing the Sand Mountain tournament, so I'll be handling all those duties
Awesome.
all week long. So
Awesome.
yeah,
Looking
so
forward to that. And, I know Ider's going to put on anytime Ider hosts anything, they always do an outstanding job at it. And not just them, I mean, anybody and everybody that hosts it. But Ider's going to take pride in that new gym.
mhm,
First time they've been able to host a tournament like this up there
mhm,
in many, 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 many years. And so I know they're looking forward to that. And I know Mr. Brooks, principal up
mhm.
there, and the athletic director as well. He will make sure everything goes as smooth as possible.
Yeah, and I think um, when we get to the semifinals, obviously the tournament is already seeded. In the girls, Ider's number 1. They're the number 1 seed. Plainview is the number 2 seed. In the boys, Plainview is the number 1 seed. Obviously, they've won it 9 straight years in a row. Um, Longest streak ever. Uh, and then Section is the number 2 seed. So we already know, and they are already in the semifinals. So we already know 4 teams that's in the semifinals because the way the bracket is set up, they get a bye all the way to the semis. So um, you look at that, and you got a potential to have a number 1 versus number 1 in the semifinals for the girls, and a number 1 versus number 1 in the boys. Plainview is not number 1 yet, but they're number 2 in the state. Um, Section's number 1 in boys in class 2A. For girls, Ider's number 1 in 1A, and then Plainview is number 1 in 2 and 4A. You also have another number 1 team in the girls' side. The Pisgah Eagles are number 1 in 2A. So the girls' bracket, somebody's not going to play in the finals. And then you got North Sand Mountain girls who are in the top 5. Um, North Sand Mountain boys, Pisgah boys, they're all ranked in the top 5. Five's a top 10 team. So there's going to be some good basketball at the Civic Center on Monday and Tuesday. I hate it they start at 3 o'clock, but hopefully school will be out. I
Right.
think school is out at that point.
Yes.
I know some people will be working, but if you can't make it to the Civic Center, be sure to tune in to 1017. We'll have you covered.
Awesome. So, you know, Heath, we appreciate you joining us. I
Yeah.
appreciate you joining me, and this is something we're going to start doing a little bit more of, covering not just football but basketball as well. And I know you've had a busy day today because I figured you was at the Chambers commit
I was. I was there.
today.
Yeah.
Congratulations, that young man
Yeah.
going to Mississippi State, and
Yeah.
going to be kicking on Saturdays for State
Yeah.
and the Cowbells. So, did they have any Cowbells there for them today?
No, no, they didn't have any cowbells. Auburn made a late push for him, and obviously they went through a coaching change.
Right.
He had us fooled a little bit. He started to put that Auburn hat on, and he threw it out at the crowd. So, um, but yeah, it was. I didn't get a picture of him signing because Mississippi State doesn't use they don't you don't fax it to him anymore. It's all you do it on your phone. So he did it this morning. So didn't get that picture. We got a picture of his parents and his Coach Elmore. Didn't learn something new today. Didn't know Coach Elmore went to Mississippi State. So I
Really?
think he may win on golf scholarship. I think I don't know, but yeah, unique there. He's a good kid. Very good kid. Very uh, faith played a big role in his uh, decision on where he was going to go, and that was just unique to hear him tell his story and how he got to the decision. That is the second signing or third signing that I've been able to go cover since I took this job, and like Carl Prater said that time y'all had him on. If you don't know who Carl Prater is, he's the sports director at 48 News in
Yes.
Huntsville. That may be the coolest thing to watch. It's to see a kid sign their future and know what they're going to do and make that decision of going forward and setting their life up. So that's been unique. The one I went and McKinley Trade was the first one. She signed with Faulkner, and then Abby Williams signed with South Alabama to play softball at Plainview, and then hit Mississippi State, obviously the biggest one. But I mean, it doesn't matter how big the school is. Just them signing their scholarship to go play at the next level is a neat thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wasn't going to mention nothing, but I'll go ahead and mention it real quick. You mentioned Channel 48 and AJ Weist, one of the social media directors and everything. He's watching the show live tonight. So
Okay.
shout out to Channel 48's AJ Weist.
Yeah.
He's got his own show on Facebook, Channel 48.
Okay.
Uh, Channel 48 before the four with AJ Weist. So anybody that's watching on here, be sure to go out and watch him. I think it's at around 3:50. I think it is. He has a lot of uh, news before the 4 o'clock, and I remember when the news used to come on at 5 o'clock, and that's all you
Yeah.
get. But now it starts at 4 and don't end until uh, 7 o'clock, I think. But anyway, uh,
We
there's
used
there's
to watch the Andy Griffith show first.
yeah, well, yeah, that was from 4 to 4:30, and then four
Yeah.
thirty to 5 o'clock, and then
Yeah.
5 o'clock the news came on. But anyway, appreciate everybody that was watching us, joining us, and everything. One more time, anybody that wants to watch the Super Seven on or listen to Super Seven,
Yeah.
1017 The Torch is going to be carrying all the games live. You can check them out here on Facebook on what is
1017 The Torch Facebook page.
yeah 1017 Torch Facebook page, or just do the old fashioned way. Just turn it on the radio.
Yeah.
Put it on 1017 and just
Yeah.
listen to it and enjoy the Super Seven. And so, but Heath, we appreciate it. Thanks for joining
Yeah.
us and everything, and looking forward to our basketball coverage. We're going to be
Mhm.
doing a lot of this year, and like you just kind of talked about, a lot of great basketball teams here in
Yeah.
Northeast Alabama that we're going to be covering a lot of, and uh, I had a couple games last night. You was at some games last night, I think, and so
Yeah.
and I got to apologize to you and Jason both. Normally, when Jackson DeKalb County teams meet at 5, I get a picture of the scorebooks and send them to both of y'all, or especially to him. But
Yeah,
now with you being at the Times Journal, I'll be sending it to you. But
yeah.
last night it was just normally you got a game in between the varsity boys and
Hmm.
girls and all that stuff, but last night it was just the varsity boys and girls, so there's no downtime, so I wasn't able to do that. But
Yeah.
moving forward, I will send that stuff to you.
Yeah, and real quick before we go, everybody keep the family at Skyline Bella in your prayers, and she's still battling. And then the Chapman family at Ider is Camry. She's a starter also for Ider. She's got was at farm the other night. She's okay, other than a broke leg, but she's okay. But just keep both of those in your prayers and hope for speedy recoveries for both.
Yeah, and I didn't realize it, but last night was the first game that Skyline had played since the
Yeah,
accident, and
I believe they won both. Do they
yeah,
not?
yeah, Skyline
So
won both of them,
yeah.
and uh, it was sloppy. You could tell that Skyline
Hmm.
hasn't played in quite some time, and they started off a little bit slow because they had a hats off to Fife. They had a special prayer before the game started for Bella and her family, and had a presentation to the coach and all that. Five faculty, staff, and all that stuff. They gathered, they took up a donation or whatever, and sent money to Bella's family to
It's a good
help
deal.
with all that. So you can tell there's a little bit of a emotional
Hmm.
type before the game started for Skyline, but then once the ball tipped off and they took off up and down the court. You can tell it's first game they've had in quite some time, but they end up coming from behind to win. I think it was about 6 points, and then the varsity boys end up beating Fife. I think it was about 8 points, 8 or 9 points. And so, but anyway, yeah, keep that family in your prayers, and in the school too. You know,
Yeah.
everybody's talking about the family, but she's got a lot of friends
Hmm.
on that school or on that team, and they all had uh, what was it? Crap, I wish I could remember. Skyline Strong, I think, number
Yeah.
23. So they all had T-shirts on and everything. So, but anyway, but don't mean to end on a damper, but hey, sometimes you have to. But
Yeah.
Heath, thanks for joining us. Looking
Yeah.
forward to doing more work with you on here, and looking forward to it. And for for Howard Cheney, for Heath Hammert, River City Media, thanks for joining us during this playoff run, and looking forward to the basketball season getting started here. Some shows here in a couple of weeks. So good night, everybody, and try to get out and do a little bit of exercise. Work off some of that turkey that you ate last Thursday.
Yeah.
So good night, everybody.